Hello everybody, my name is Josiah Lin. Today I'll be covering the first part of the project I created for the database class. Let's read the project description first. So in this project, we simply want to create a online shopping website so that the sellers can post at most 5 items per day and do the reviews to other sellers' items. There are some other constraints in this project ahead of time. But in the part 1, we're gonna simply focus on 2 things. First is create initialize database button. So when the administrator clicks it, all the necessary tables will be created and recreated. As you have known that we already written all the queries needed for create those tables and constraints. But we will not touch the actual database in this project. We want to use JDBC to simulate manipulations of all the operations in our database. So we also want to grant some privileges to the user John, so John can have full access to the project DB. We'll talk about this later. So the second thing is we're going to create 2 interfaces, one for login and another for registration, because we want to allow registered users to have full access to our website. Another thing to mention is we have a special user named root. So root can manipulate and manage the user data. For example, root can ban some users who had some abusive manners. So let me show you the actual website I created for this class. I'll first go sign up. Okay, if you haven't got an account yet, go to sign up. Let me create a new user named Mary Lin. Email Mary, just say Mary, gmail.com. Password 123123. First name Mary. Last name Lin. Oh, how about that? Good. Okay. Birthday. Just give a random birthday. Sign up. Okay. Now you become a member of my online store, so you can go ahead and sign in. Good. You see, there are some menus, there are some templates I've just created, but those things are non-functional right now. But this is just a good start. So you can go ahead and log out. If you're a root user, first thing you will show like all the users who have already registered. Okay, so when you click the initialize button, right, you see because the only users who have not been pre-populated is Mary Lin, so Mary Lin will be gone because I just recreated tables and reinserted all those pre-populated tuples, so Mary Lin is not in the list. Let's go log out. So I want to talk about some architecture I use for creating those things first. So I use architecture named MVC. So simply put it this way, view is HTML, controller consists of JSP and Java servlets. Both are interchangeable, but JSP is more popular when you try to generate some HTML, because as you can see, they look so similar, right? They look so similar, just like HTML, but these are actually Java code. You compile them to Java code, and later Java code will generate the corresponding HTML and send to a client. So servlets will be used to do some logic operations, like here. I use sign up, initialize, logout, use control servlet. So model in this case would not be database, would be JDBC. Let me show you guys. This is my model. I connected to the actual database, and you see all these are Java strings. Okay, so we use some pre-written libraries to connect to the actual database and do the manipulations. So these things very important. It allows us to allow me to successfully build a website by myself and can also manage those data easily. Let's talk about some of the files I've written first thing is login. You see all those fields will be like my here. These things look exactly the same as HTML, so it's really convenient rather than Java in this way. We have password login. When you click submit, you see form tag up here. When you click submit, everything between the ending and starting form tag will be passed to online storage control servlet. Alright. So when you use method post, all the fields will be concealed, will not be showing on the URL. Let's go ahead. For example, use login as example. So you use the login, we have a hidden action named login in our form. So the switch statement will recognize, okay, this is action is login. So that's called the login function. Let's scroll down a little bit. This is a login function. First, I'm gonna check whether this user is admin or not. Okay, so in my user, let's see, in my user class, like a user class has all these fields and get them set method. So I have administrator extending to user. It's a special kind of user who already give the name. Okay, this root, that's me. All right, the user ID is root. Okay, so if the user is administrator, then I will just call this method and this user. So this user will see pre-populates all those, will print all those registered users on your browser. All right, very simple. If the users who try to log in is not an administrator, then we'll try to verify. All right, does this user already exist? We call it get user. So get user will simply try to match the user ID and the password with all the users in the database. Okay. So how do we do that? We have a get user list. We'll select user query, select all the users from the database, and we try to loop through all these users, see if we can find any match. Even if the user is not, means okay, this user cannot be found. Okay, we just go back to login, just login the JSP. Right, we just reload that login page to you. That means your access has been denied. If you find any match, we create a session for the user. All right, session is not technology. Just track all the actions when you are browsing. If anything else, that means it probably exists, but this access has been denied, means the status has been set false. So we can send direct to login as well. So this is just one example of the things I've written. So I can do some other things like how do you initialize the database. For example, you see the administrator JSP. Okay, this is where we see the initialize button. We click initialize, but this link name initialize, which it take a action. Right, we use some C library in a C tag URL. So when you click initialize, we'll still jump to online storage control servlet. So servlet will try to read the action you pass in. So the action is being recognized as initialize. We call it initialize function. So initialize function will call with the DAO is a data access objects. It's another class. So here is the function that does a real operations. So we first call the connect function. Connect function will create just a bridge for us in the actual database. So all these are the queries, okay? Actual queries. So I look through all these queries and execute them using the statement object. So after I execute all these things, all the tables recreated, and I reinsert some the tuples into the table. And I close the statement connectivity, so everything has been initialized. Then I go back, and I go back to list and call list the users. So list users pre-populate, pre-populate all those the list of users again. So only the users who have been reinserted in the tables remain. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.